Welcome to Legal and Tax Services, and thank you for choosing us.
Finance Minister Tito Mboweni delivered an emergency budget speech to the country. Could you perhaps offer some important points that may have been highlighted within his speech?
Yeah, it's quite easy actually. The emergency budget speech was triggered by the emergency caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, and the government had to move money around from what they allocated in the budget in February. So what he basically did is he said that we are going to need 500 billion in additional funds, which we will need to borrow, and that about 122 billion has already been allocated to people in distress, like people on social grants and people receiving no income at all, and of course updating our health system.
Okay,
so it was not
and let me ask you, what impact have these grants had on the current economy? So these grants have already been issued and some still need to be fundraised. What is the impact of these grants on our economy at the moment?
Well, it is not just the impact of the grants. It is the whole impact of the COVID-19 situation that basically shut down the economy for almost 3 months totally. So there's been no production going out. No taxes have been collected because obviously if there's no money being made, there's no tax being paid. And the whole issue is that the government is in a situation where they've got no choice but to borrow the money to cover all of these expenses.
And where are they borrowing this money from at the moment?
Well, basically all over. Whomever can give money, they're borrowing from the BRICS Bank, they're borrowing from the International Monetary Fund. That's the two main contributors to funds. Some of the countries that are stronger financially has promised aid, but as with all promises, we're still waiting for the results there.
Okay, and tell me, there's this buzzword that was mentioned within the past week of zero budgeting. And how does zero budgeting come into play, and what is zero budgeting when it comes to using these funds?
Zero budgeting is not going to come into play using these funds, unfortunately. Zero budgeting is a thing that they have to move towards and they will probably reach by like about maybe 2023 budget or 2024 budget. A zero budget means is our budget up to now, as everybody knows. The Minister of Finance will announce that I am, for instance, allocating 200 billion to the health system.
Yeah.
Not going to work like that anymore. He's not going to say anything. The zero budget means the Director General of Health or the Minister of Health has to approach the government and then ask the government for an amount of money and justify that amount of money and how it will be used.
And
will
are they... Yeah, carry on.
No. So obviously there will have to be some safety measures included as well, but it will prevent the system currently where some department at the end of the financial year actually has got money left over in their budget that was not spent on, well, whatever they were meant to spend it on, or they over budgeted, whatever the case might be.
All right. And tell me, it sounds a lot easier than it probably is. What should us as taxpayers expect as a result of zero budgeting? Would there be any impact on us as taxpayers?
No, it won't make any difference to us as taxpayers. Look, the current situation we are in is difficult. There's no getting away from it. And we as taxpayers must expect that we will receive no breaks during the next few financial years, say about for the next 5 years. We cannot expect the government to make space to give the taxpayer a break while the government is in a situation where it has to service a lot of debt. At the moment, as it is, 21 cents out of every rand collected by SARS is going just to pay the interest on our current debt. Okay. So the situation is really, how shall we say? We will have to work very hard to avoid a situation that occurred in Europe like a few years ago. We all know Greece was in a situation which they called austerity, and we might end up in exactly the same place if we are not very, very careful.